Okay, hi guys, good evening, my good people. You are welcome to my show. I'm yours and truly Frank Bello. I am back once again this great evening, night, live all the way from London on Facebook stream. It is Sunday and it is the very first day of March 2020. I can see who is giving me that love because your picture is not coming up, but I'll figure out who that person is at some point in time. Olabode Oladile, good evening. The time in London is exactly 1924, coming to 1925. Today is Sunday, the very first day of March 2020. Not many people are aware that I'm going to come live, but we're going to do it in the same normal way that we always carry out our show. I should have probably come up earlier, but obviously I was busy on the book Extreme Marriage between the rich southern wife and the poor northern husband. That is the cross that you've given me to crack my head. I thank God that I was behind today. Others will probably join us. Give us some time. Olabode Oladile, Amolara Sunshine, thank you. I said it. Others will probably join us as soon as Facebook continue to alert them. Should we send invites to other people? Because what we want to talk about today, I'm waiting for other people such as Lizzie Azu, Bukola Udufadiri, Elizabeth Lilja, and many others to tune into the show. So, Abuchi Okereke, yes, thank you. What we want to discuss with ourselves, maybe for the next hour or so, is titled #Reasons Nigeria Must Break, because I think it's now getting to the tipping point that that country is not sustainable. It has to break, whether they like it or not. I know some people within the corridors of power don't like many of us who are extremely proactive and very, very provocative to say that the contraption that was fraudulently molded in 1914 by Lugard in his amalgamation should break. Reasons Nigeria must break is what we want to talk about today. But before that, let's seize the opportunity to invite a few people because I'm expecting a lot more. So let me do this. I'm going to invite the others to come into the show. Lizzie. Yeah. Yeah. All those I'm going to invite individually, one by one. They'll get the allowance. Let's get them in so that we can get the ball rolling. It's been a long time I saw Franca Obi on the show. It would be nice to have Franca back, guys. I know some are on the other side of the pond in the States, but it does not matter. Let's see what we can do. There are some people we just don't want to get into the platform. Bear me, give me 1 minute, you guys, and we shall keep the show running. All right, I've got too many names here, so I'll loads, guys, loads. I've got loads of them. Yeah, I haven't seen some of these guys in a while on my show, so let's try and send invites to all of them one by one. That's it. Oh dear me. Pray for me that I don't get into trouble. I need all your prayers. Yes. Okay. I think Dominic actually sent some few stuff to me, to which I'm still struggling to digest those contents. Okay, let's invite that one too. I'm going to mention his name. Okay, Jacoba. Yeah, I think Stella Remilia Thomas too did send something to me earlier on. I've not really accessed most of my stuff on social media, guys. Just bear with me. We'll get there. We will surely get there. Okay, I'm sending this to all those that are necessary. Let's get as many people as we can get into the show. Okay. Should I stop here or just carry on? You see, I've got many other names just coming up. Okay. This one too. Yeah, I spoke to Jerry Mangla Jerome in Uganda not too long ago. One of the best people I've ever worked with in my entire whole life. Dedicated and very loyal people. Okay, guys, see, they keep coming up and I can't stop. That's the problem. They keep coming up. Oh dear. Okay. Maybe I have to put an end to this at some point in time. Okay, let me stop here and then let's see. Okay, I know I can see. Yeah, I think I've got a few people, a lot in here. E.K. Ekanem Robertson. Thank you for tuning in. Prince Elisere, thank you. Udinakachuku Onwoka, good morning. You're watching from China. Guys, Udinakachuku Onwoka is watching from China. I hope you're not in Wuhan. And if you are, I know that you are a black man. You won't catch coronavirus, COVID-19. Lizzie, thank you. Samson Anjori, Nelson Adesagbon, Bisike, Ayedun, Prince Adebokon, my High Chief in my Akure Kingdom, where I came out from originally. Very proud and conservative people in Akure land. Thank you, Prince Adebokun. Abuchi Okereke, thank you. Kayode Stephen Ojetunde. Yes, Nigeria is not sustainable. Political class are just postponed. The doomsday to break. Godwin blessings. Bisike Ayedun, you said Nigeria must restructure or no future. That's exactly what we want to talk about. But you see, the title of my podcast this evening is titled Reasons Nigeria Must Break. We're not talking about restructuring anymore. It is too late to restructure Nigeria. Nigeria must break into 3 pieces or more. The country is not sustainable. I mean it. I can see this coming. It was glaring. I was warning people it is going to happen, but people just don't take my warnings serious. Kayode Stephen Ojetunde, everybody is already in trouble. Nelson Adesabo. Sana Basuno, thank you. Esther Oluide, thank you. Yeah, indeed. The issue is gone beyond restructuring. Yes, hi, Esther. audio is low. I don't know why that is, but I would have thought that it should be okay. Let me check. I'm not too sure if I am on Facebook here. No, I am not. You can hardly hear me. That is extremely strange. It is very, very strange because I am not on. Maybe Facebook must have tampered with. Check your, Esther Oluyide, check your volume on your handset, because I'm not really getting this same message from the other people. Otherwise, other people must have complained to me that my audio is low. So it must have been the volume settings on your handset. Okay, guys, so what we want to talk about and trash out with ourselves very honestly today, the very first day of March 2020, is all about hashtag reasons Nigeria must break. Now, if you have any cogent reasons to counter why Nigeria should not break into bits and pieces, let's have that and tell us exactly your reasons why you feel Nigeria should not break. I'm not too sure if it will be okay for me to open up the phone so that you guys can actually call. But I'm going to leave the calling open if you want to make your own contribution. That call is going to come through my workstation because it is a call via the voice over internet protocol, VoIP. It is a UK land phone. It is a UK landline, let me put it that way. And because it is a UK landline, many of you with bundles of free calls in the UK are free to actually make your own contributions so that we can talk, we can trash this issue out. The number to call, I'm going to tell you, is 020. Let me see if I can pin that number down. The number is 020. Let me see. 020 8180 if you're calling from London or anywhere in the UK. If you have to call from outside the United Kingdom, all you have to do is get rid of the 0 in front of the 2 and then add +4420 8180 That's exactly what you need. those who want to ring in to contribute to the show. The number is 020-818-00433. That's if you're calling straight from a UK landline or a UK mobile phone. Very simple. So you have to ring to tell us. You have to tell us, and you have to convince a lot of Nigerians why you feel Nigeria should not break up. You have to give us a very good reason. The reasons must be cogent. It must be solid. Why you think that nasty, pathetic country should not break. I'm not too sure. Yes, I think Lizzie is still there because I can see your cake. And I think I can honestly tell you, Lizzie Azu, based on, because you have played a significant role in this book, Extreme Nigeria, Extreme Marriage Between the Rich Southern Wife and the Poor Northern Husband. During the period of the middle of last week, or this week, no, last week, because we've entered into a new week. Lizzie, you actually drew my attention to the two runways at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Emir, and you called. This was a private conversation between you and I, but then and again I actually accessed that information in the middle of the night around 1 a.m. when I was up from my sleep to use the toilet as usual, and I quickly snooped on my messages, and because you had that message waiting for me, of all the messages, I quickly replied your message because it was priority and it was part and parcel of what I was working on. You drew my attention to the two runways, and I can honestly tell you, like I promised, I will look into that because I'm equally an aviation enthusiast, just like you. Now, I've done a lot of background work in that area, and I can comfortably tell you, Lizzie, that my research and everything, see, I had to make loads of adjustments based on where you actually pointed my eyes. So that changed completely the flow of the book. So as a writer, I have to accommodate those code that was equally incorporated into the Murtala Mohammed Airport's runway, which 999 was secretly vibrating, and it was the energy power associated to it. Here, let me read exactly what I've got, because I've got the book in front of me in its original template in Quark Express. I said on page 54, I've got the two runways of the Murtala Mohammed Airport Lagos DN down. DN, that code DN is the abbreviation. DN is down. That is, if any plane from anywhere in the world is flying through to the Murtala Mohammed Airport, it's because Nigeria is sitting on a particular latitude and longitude on the world map, and Lagos was equally on a particular coordinates. So pilots need that coordinates that will take them from wherever they are flying to Lagos Airport. So the DN down Murtala Mohammed Airport, the two runways were there, and I said, here, Nigeria's, on page 54, Nigeria's ISO first, because the Nigeria's ISO, International Serial Order, equally changed everything. This was apart from the DN of Murtala Mohammed Airport. So Nigeria's, other than the fact that Nigeria happens to be in 9 after we've worked on that based on that information at the back, and the mere fact that NGR, the code allocated to Nigeria by the IOC, International Olympic Committee, was equally 3. NGR was 3 after collapse. Nigeria as a country is sitting on a particular coordinates on the world map, and that coordinate that Nigeria is sitting in terms of its point to the North Pole and the equator were both 9. Did you get that? So 9 is that energy that we need to crack. 3, 6, and 9, but 9 is peculiar to Nigeria as a name, as an entity, as everything that flows in it. 9. So Nigeria's ISO Do you want to listen to this? Listen very carefully. Nigeria's ISO is, I want you to Google that. Nigeria's ISO. I'm not making this up. That ISO is 3166-2 and then NG. See, what is important is those 5 digits. 31662. They're very important. The 31662 of your ISO, when you break it down, you get 18. The same 18 on the right runway of the Murtala Mohammed Airport. Because 1 plus 8 equals 9. So, can this be a coincidence that your 2 runways at the Murtala Mohammed Airport that was built way back in 1976 by the government of Olusegun Obasanjo as a military junta by Stratback built. I know that because my dad was alive at the time and he was a chartered civil engineer, town planner, and he knew so much about that Murtala Mohammed Airport and its construction. The same thing with the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. He was very active in those development. Murtala Mohammed Airport was built by Stratback, and as at that time in 1976, when that airport was built by the Obasanjo's administration, it was built specifically to accommodate Concorde to land. So how come the 2 runways of both of the airport, see, was 3 plus 6 left, 36 left, 18 right, and then 36 right, and then 18 left. Both 3 plus 6, 9. 1 plus 8, 9. On both sides. Was this a coincidence? And then Nigeria's ISO Maureen Hink, thank you. Good evening. Nigeria International Serial Order 3166-2. Was this another coincidence that when it is collapsed, that equally was 18? 1 plus 8 equals 9. How come everything about Nigeria is 9? Was it a coincidence that when Ibrahim Babangida, listen, was this a coincidence that when Ibrahim Babangida subsequently divided Nigeria up into 36 states, eventually, what do we get? 36 states. Take away the Federal Capital Territory, because they don't count the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, as a state. Babangida created the last phase of your contraption. Gowon created the 12 states. The 12 states Gowon created in the 70s. 1 plus 2, 3. Later on, in 1985 or in the 90s, Babangida created 36 more states after Murtala Mohammed created 19 of his own. So 36, here you've got the same 36 from your Murtala Mohammed runway, and the 36 from Babangida's state's creation. 3 plus 6 equals 9. So here, because I argued the ISO out vigorously, I said, and then the aviation stuff, I said, as an aviation enthusiast, I'm reading part of the book in here for you now, Lizzie. Lizzie, I mentioned your name on page 54. I said, I told you guys, many of you will be coming into the book. It depends on how you want to contribute. And you don't know where this book is going to go. A lot of you, your contribution on the show, I know where Bukola Odufadering Odusoya is going to fit in. I know where Elizabeth Lilja is going to fit in. I know where each and every one of you will fit in the book, and I will put you all inside. I said, as an aviation enthusiast, Lizzie Azu is an avid follower of mine on Facebook live stream, where the need for this book originated. She called my attention to the Lagos down DNMM code of the 2 runways at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. The code reads 36L 18R 36R 18L. The 2 runways, either way, you will find 3 plus 6 equals 9 and 1 plus 8 equals 9. Check it out on top. And I've got the illustration of how the runway was laid. It's there. Nobody can contest it. Now, a lot of people said, I know where Maureen Hink, you're going to come in. I know your contribution. Bukola Odufadering is going to come in. I know those who were making positive contributions to the show. I asked a question earlier on, and I want people to please provide me with an answer. I want people to convince me or to tell me why Nigeria must not break. That's what we want to talk about, because having worked all day yesterday, today on the book, and then based on the next tape I'm going to play you lot, that's why I said I want some people that are not screwed up to convince me, to point it out on this show, this live stream, that nasty piece of contraption that you lot call Nigeria should not break. I've been telling people, I've been exposing to people many Nigerians who claimed they are Nigerians, that there is nothing called Nigeria. The way you've got the British. Fine. Make no mistakes. Fine. The British experimented with Nigeria. They did experiment. Make no mistakes. Nigeria was their experiment. That experiment came with many code. That code is what we're breaking in the book. That code of 369 is what I will break for you lot to see. There's a lot you have to catch up with, because I've not really gone into the actual code breaking, but we have to go back. That code breaking came from your history, and I have to work with many dates that dates back centuries. I have to work with many names that perhaps you've not heard of, that contributed to the plight of where we are now, today. Hundreds of years ago. It's not an easy thing to crack. Maureen Hink said she's not a Nigerian. I'm not either. It is not easy. In between, you will find enshrined in our code. I've proven everything out. The Ogboni fraternity symbol is secretly enshrined. You will discover whether it was for good or for bad, the Ogboni fraternity symbol. You will find the 6 different pointed angles. that housed your 60 years of cycle, misery cycle, 1959 to 2019. You will find the yin yang, the male and the female. Remember, the man who molded Nigeria into one piece, Lord Lugard, in 1914 amalgamation, made it known he wants to merge the rich southern wife with the poor northern husband. That merge, 1st of January 1914 by Lugard. Don't forget, Lugard, Lord Lugard, was a Freemason. In fact, Lord Lugard was a 33rd degree Freemason. So he reached the highest peak of the Mason. So, could it mean that Nigeria was fraudulently molded up under a Masonic principles, looking clearly that the Star of David played a pivotal role? It was critical in the formation of Nigeria. Could that be the case? Because in the Ogboni fraternity and the Freemasons and the Ogboni fraternity are the same. I was born into it. I won't deny my roots. There is nothing bad in both the Freemasons and the Ogboni fraternity because they were brotherhood. The only difference, I'll tell you, if you mistakenly maltreat either a Freemason man or an Ogboni man, if they want to deal with you, they just don't only deal with you, they kill you because you don't touch theirs. It is a club. It's a gentleman's club. It's the same like those who go to church, and as a matter of fact, you can never be admitted into either the Freemasons or the Ogboni fraternity if you don't believe in a spiritual being that is superior to others. You will never be admitted. I cannot tell. I can tell you that. So, could this mean some people, if some people want to write Niger, they write 9 and then JA. That was unconscious to them. Not many people know that 9 was actually the code to which Nigeria sits on as an entity, just like you and I. My name, all the names I was given at birth, And all the names you and many of us were given at birth, the moment we were born, vibrates at different frequency and energy that affects us indirectly. Does that mean the woman who gave Nigeria her name knew this spiritual significance of what she did, as at that time she was a girlfriend? This same woman was a girlfriend to Lord Lugard, who merged both the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate together in 1914, 1st January 1914 amalgamation. Niger, J-A. Many Nigerians are not conscious. They're not spiritually conscious of the fact that 9 was the frequency energy that was associated to Nigeria when it was created. Nigeria's flag, before you got your own green, white, green flag in 1960, was a Union Jack flag, the same flag with Britain. But then, what was contained in the flag specific to Nigeria when Britain colonized Nigeria was the Star of David. See, I told people and I made it known that both slave trade, colonization from all parts of the world was all part of the secret agenda by the Western world to usher the rest of the world into the new order they want to create. Ayo, Olsav Michael, you ain't seen nothing. Just wait for the book. I told you they will ban this book in Nigeria. I know what I'm talking about. Oh, well, I think Maureen Hink, I think the national flag, the green, white, green. The green, well, I'll tell you, the guy who designed the green, white, green came up and then talked about his reasons. And the reasons initially on the flag was meant well. The green signifies Nigeria's fertile ground that crops can grow. So the green signifies agriculture, because before oil was discovered in Nigeria, Nigeria was an agricultural producing nation, and the white in the middle signifies peace and prosperity. See, then that actually led me into another issue to ask that question as to whether the British fraudulently molded Nigeria together. Yes, they did. And this was dated back to the 18 something. I think this was dated back to, if I can tell you at the top of my head, Ralph Moore and Walter, I think Ralph Moore and Walter something. I've got everything inside. Yeah, Ralph Moore and I think this was Walter, oh, let me see, Walter Egerton. I think it was Walter Egerton, yeah. Walter Egerton. And then after Walter Egerton, then came Lord Lugard. Walter Egerton was the man that actually made sure your railway from Lagos right up to Zaria were constructed. And guess what? Under the British rule. The British, those days, in 18 something, built a railway all the way from Lagos to the north in 3 years. Brand new construction. 3. Because Egerton does not favor transport over river, but he chose to favor transportation over rail as the governor of the Southern Protectorate of Nigeria. It's messy. It's messy. See, in the formation of Nigeria, your flag, your national flag in colonial era was the same Union Jack, red at the bottom with Southern Protectorate, and then blue at the north with the Northern Protectorate. Because the Southern Protectorate, they've got their own coat of arms, and then the Northern Protectorate, they've got their own coat of arms. So what then happened was that in both of the two flags, you've got the same Star of David secretly placed. And in the Star of David, the Star of David is a 6-pointed triangle. And when you look at the triangle in the Star of David, anyone who does not know, perhaps are not conscious of the fact that the British created their mark and their insignia to tell you of how they intend to run their empire, because Nigeria was their empire. And it was their intention to actually mold Nigeria as a mini Britain after them. And that's why the Star of David was incorporated into your colonial flag with the Star of David. Make no mistakes. Because it is common knowledge that that same Star of David has got a 6-pointed star. And because it has got the 6-pointed star, you remember we're talking about the secret code 369. The Star of David has got a 6-pointed star. You've got 3 main tribes: the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas. You're 3. The 6-pointed star, that 6-pointed star that they, the British, incorporated into your colonial flag, spelled out the 60 years of the misery they hope to unleash on Nigeria should you call for your freedom, because they knew the direction at which the world was going, because they modeled it, they created it. So the 6-pointed star, ideally, is mostly used as a talisman. Not many people are aware of this, that's exactly what they use the Star of David for. To which the same Star of David was equally incorporated in the Federation of Nigeria penny that was minted in 1959. I've made this note in the book. Not only is the Star of David used as a talisman, that is personal protection for individuals, so also the same Star of David is used for conjuring spirits and spiritual forces in diverse forms. And this practice is mostly used in occult magic and ceremony. In Greek, the Star of David is known as hexagram, H-E-X-A-G-R-A-N, hexagram. Hex. What is a hex? H-E-X. Hex in witchcraft or in occultic practice is a curse. So we've got the Star of David secretly hanging over Nigeria as a hex. Could that be the curse pronounced on the nation way back in 1914 by Lord Lugard, that was not conscious to a lot of people. Why that date, 1st of January 1914? I've broken it down. Because 1914 came into being because the guy, Ralph Moore, that started the affairs of Nigeria, had to retire, I think aged 43 or so. Sometime. Now, Ralph Moore, this man retired, obviously back to ill health, on the 1st of October. I have the dates. On the 1st of October 1903. Now, your amalgamation of 1914 that was ruthlessly created by Lugard. Lugard worked on certain dates and code that provided him with that 1914. And I'll break it down for you. Ralph Moore retired 1st of October 1903. You got your independence 1st of October 1960. 1st of October 1903, if we collapse the date together, 1 plus 10 plus 1903, you get 1914. Now, if you then break 1914 down into its individual components, you get 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 4, and you arrive at 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Your 6 in your secret code came from there. The 1914 Lugard, the 33rd degree Freemason, merged, fraudulently molded Nigeria from the Southern Protectorate with the Northern Protectorate, was 1914. So that date came from the time Ralph Moore retired. As the High Commissioner of the Southern Protectorate of Nigeria. Ralph Moore was British High Commissioner that was responsible for the Southern Protectorate. So he retired that day, but because the Freemasons and the Ogboni fraternity, they work with sums and numbers to tell the world they are responsible for such actions. So 1914 amalgamation came from Ralph Moore's retirement of the 1st of October 1903. So that retirement of the 1st of October 1903 provided the secret code to your 1914 amalgamation. And that paved way to the 6 separate years of the misery that the British hope to unleash on you right up to 2019 that you are not just conscious of. So that was the hex, the jinx, they hanged over Nigeria. I compared again the Masonic compass, and in the Masonic compass and the Star of David are all the same, because the Masonic compass has got the square and the compass together. The compass is used to draw a 360 degrees circle, and you've got, your country has gone through a completed cycle of 60 years from 1959 to 2019. But unfortunately, you made the wrong choice in 2019. That was why I was crying out loud, don't make mistakes. But unfortunately, many Nigerians plunged Nigeria into another 60 years of misery. Unless and otherwise, people should give me reasons why Nigeria must not break up. Unless Nigeria break up, that is when that cycle will be broken. Nigeria is terrible. Nigeria is under a Masonic order. It is under a Masonic order. There's no doubt about it. See, there are some questions I'm trying to debunk. And some of those questions that I'm trying to debunk is to establish whether colonization was good for Nigeria or not. I'm pretty sure that the spiritual source of all creation is going to give me directions on how to tackle that area, because I know for a fact that the battle and the control over Nigeria and many of the colonies, or the grab for land by the Europeans in Africa in what they termed as the scramble for Africa was all about the control of your land, your resources, and ultimately the people. They need your land because your land harbors most of the minerals they want. I've argued that out. They want to keep employment going here. The oil during the Industrial Revolution, They need to keep all their employment going here. They need to get their own people employed. Britain was very smart amongst many of those colonial powers, because whilst the French, the Germans, and many other countries of the European continent continue to fight themselves over the scramble in Africa, Britain was penetrating deep, and they continue to expand their own empires across there, which is why you've got many of their conglomerates, such as the British Petroleum, Unilever, big in most of their colonies. They need your land. They need your resources. They don't have all the resources here. They need to get all those resources. That's why people like Ralph Moore, Walter Egerton, Lord Lugard were all sent to Nigeria to look after the British interest. It was all about their own interest. And everything, people, like it or not, are marketing. Pastors in many of the churches, they rely on people to come into their church to worship. That's why you see majority of those churches, they go on evangelism. Evangelism is all about bringing in people into the church. So the church business is about people. The church business is like any other business. Don't make no mistakes. Don't kid yourselves. Land, resources, and the people. That's exactly what they want. And that is exactly what is still happening now. 60 years, 60 odd years that the British packed all their belongings, to which I'm going to start analyzing everything that is contained in each of the three phases. Don't forget, it is divided up into three phases. Your misery, 1959 to 1979, the first phase. 1979 to 1999, the second phase. 1999 to 2019, the third phase. Each 20 years. 3, 6, 9. It's not easy. It is not. Chimampa, excellent. He said our preachers in the mega churches might know all this. They know. You see, oh, they know. You know me. My mouth is big. Those days, you know, I used to tell my wife that church business is about marketing. She doesn't like it. I used to tell her those days when my kids, my children were babies, I'll drop them off at the church. I'll drop them. When they finish their service, I'll go and pick them. She insisted she wanted a Bible living church, and she was one of the people that founded the Redeemed Christian Church of God in England. from St. Mark's under Pastor Ade Okorinde, if I probably wanted to tread the God side, I probably should have been right now. I probably should have been an area pastor or a regional, no, not area pastor, regional pastor. But inside the church, they played lots of politics and studying as well. People, resources. The church relied on your resources. And before they relied on your resources, you, the people, must be present in the church. It's the same principles that the colonial masters engaged centuries ago. The black race are still parabolating in the same nasty piece of environment. I was asking you guys, give me one good reason why you think Nigeria should not break. Because it seems my message is getting through to power. Nobody's ever thought about the fact that language is one uniting factor that can unite a nation. Not many people are aware of that. I made it known in my show. You said most Nigerian men are like that. They would prefer to drop kids off at the church and they go to watch soccer leagues. I won't comment on that. But I usually drop them off and I'll go back and pick them up. Alexander Paul Adams, the Yoruba must resist any emergency rule ahead of 2023 because election. No emergency rule. Guys, I think there's a lot going on in Yoruba land. And this tape I'm about to play you is in Yoruba language. I'll try as much as possible to interpret that into English for the benefit of those viewers who don't understand my mother tongue, the Yoruba language, to which I cherished so passionately because I'm a very proud, conservative Yoruba man, Ududua man, for your information. Now, let me play you this tape. Listen to this. Now, let me give you a background because this was a symposium or a gathering to which many Yoruba think tank and elders assembled themselves together. The Obas, everyone. We know those who were absent at the gathering. And those who were absent at the gathering, obviously, you know them. I'm not going to mention them. And if you want me to mention them, if they are particularly after the interest of the Southwest and the Yorubas, they ought to be there, but they were not there. We will continue to curse them. We will continue to abuse them. We will continue to shame them because they are simply greedy bastards. He was not there, Ayo Olsav Michael. He was one of the prodigal sons that we're talking about. See, in a situation whereby we've got the Alafin, we've got the Ulubadan, we've got the Oni of Ife, we've got Chief Olufalaye, we've got many of the Yoruba retired military generals and everyone. Benga Daniels, everyone. Aregbesola was not there. Jagabandit was not there. Sanwo-Olu was not there. Mr. Laya Mohammed was not there. Tell me. Give me one good reason why you feel Nigeria should not break up, considering the high level of the killings, the maiming, the kidnapping, the insecurity, the headsmen, the Fulanization, and the bastardization of the Yoruba tribe or the race. Give me one good reason why you feel we should not break up. Yeah, Cordelia Eze, Laya Mohammed. Laya Mohammed is from, she's one of those bastards from, Laya Mohammed is one of those crazy bastards from Kwara State. Whether, you see, there is, see, the composition of Amotekun does not put into action Kogi State and Kwara State to habitate them or integrate them into the Southwest, because it was clearly spelled out. The British equally had problems demarcating whether Ilorin should be part and parcel of the Southwest. They speak Yoruba clearly, yes, but obviously because of the Afonja issue and Uthman Danfodio, Ilorin became a battleground for the Yorubas. So Ilorin, Kwara State and Kogi State are in limbo in the Southwest. But the main states, the main areas to which the Yorubas can lay claims to in the Southwest are Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti State. Those 6. Paul Iloba, thanks. You're watching. You said you're watching from Karo in Abuja. Guys, let's listen to, I'll analyze this and then we will round up, and I'm still hoping somebody somewhere will give me reasons why Nigeria must not break. Because to me, it is my prayer that we should break. This break was due long time. Listen to this. This was Alaafin of Oyo talking in Yoruba.
Ambassador Dr. Tukubo, our bishop, Watagao. It's more brothers, you know, with the name, Tama. Dear friend, Joma, he professor, and talk out with our tunis or professor, alone one of them. Professor Joma, really, Matama.
This was Alaafin of Oyo. He's praying now for the Yoruba land. He's now referring to our traditional religion, the Ifa Oracle. You can hear Obalamidi Adeyemi's prayer for the Yoruba land. How do we want to talk about the Yoruba land? God, follow us. Yeah, you can hear the Alaafin and Oni. So it was a convergence between the Alaafin of Oyo and the Oni of Ife. So that means these two prominent Obas. Not only that, we've got the Awujale of Ijebu-Ode there. We've got many of the Obas, renowned first-class crown at this gathering, not the mushroom ones that were crowned by the fraudulent Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was state governor. We're talking about known crown. Nigeria is going to break. Somebody in that gathering, someone was present in that gathering. I am not going to mention that person's name. Alaafin for your mentioned that person. That person, obviously, a woman, was very close, extremely close to Obasanjo was there. She was there. So if that woman was there, that means Obasanjo was at that presentation. I have my own problems because I saw a handful of this problem years ago, many years ago, and I kept challenging. Obasanjo was not there. Somebody who was his line was there. A woman. I'm not going to mention that woman's name. That woman happens to be his line. His body. So if his line was there, that tells you he's not physically there, but spiritually he's there. Back to where I was. I had my own fracas with a handful of these leaders because I saw these problems long time ago. I've been agitating and at the same time advocating for a complete breakup of that country into its regional system. Many times, the powers that be will tell me Nigeria is non-negotiable. Paul Adams, thank you. He said confusion and crisis on the way. Yoruba should not be found wasting time. By now the Yoruba leaders and scholars should start compiling exit bills document for our lawmakers to submit ahead of 2023. I don't really. Alexandra Paul Adams, let me buttress your argument. Between now and April, I repeat, now, we're in March already. Between now and next month, April, something drastic is going to happen that will not even see 2023. It's either Nigeria will be rocked with a massive explosion, whether that explosion is an atomic bomb that will probably land in Asorok or somewhere, I don't know. Something is going to happen. Because there are so many external interests in Nigeria. Nigeria is on a timed bomb. And I'll give you the clues. Just like the Civil War, France is ready to back up the Biafrans. You heard. France is ready now to back up Biafra. Russia is the same. Russia is going to back up Biafra. Israel is going to back up Biafra. Nigeria is going to be a mess. Something terrible is going to happen. But you see, the Yorubas are so clever because we are politically inclined. We don't act quickly, but the moment the Yorubas decide to act, their action and their moves can be lethal, and it can be extremely dangerous. It is venom. Nigeria is going to break. It will break. We found ourselves in a terrible situation that many other nations that were laughing stock to Nigeria, that Nigeria will help, will help in piloting the affairs of their country and rehabilitate them, make them decent, then turn and then begin to see Nigeria as a cankerworm. They begin to see Nigeria as a useless nation. I got it on record from the immigration service in Nigeria that over 100,000 Nigerians perished through the Sahara Desert trying to run away from the country. And you've got useless and hopeless leaders such as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lai Mohammed, Rauf Aregbesola, your supposed Muhammadu Buhari, who are not talking about how come their citizens, to the tune of 100,000 people, lost their lives in the journey over the Sahara Desert to cross the Mediterranean Sea over to Europe in search of greener pasture. They're not talking about that. Rather, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is only interested in his own personal interest. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not talking about the interest of the Southwest to negotiate the new Nigeria that he wants. He called himself Asiwaju of Lagos, not Asiwaju of Yoruba land, for your information. I respect leaders who are bold. You know, even if that leader is a 10-year-old or a 6-year-old, God can make anybody a leader. If a leader is a 6 or 10-year-old, if the leader is bold and the leader at that age of 6 or 10 years is doing the right thing, making the right decisions that will make the lives of people better, respect that child. Don't look at that child as a 6 or a 10-year-old. If you are 60 or 70 and you are a non-entity and you are a vagabond and you constitute yourself a nuisance, you steal, you maim, and you want to continue to loot and to steal the people dry, how do you want me to respect such vagabonds? I'm sure most of you will not respect them. I don't respect them. If you do, tough on you. Nigeria will break. I can honestly tell you. Lizzie said she dozed off a bit. Maybe Godson's been troubling you there. Maureen Hink, you said, big mess. It is a mess. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, according to Dozie, is the Afonja of this generation. Indeed, I didn't want to say it. Some people are talking about cakes on the show. It is allowed. Lizzie makes good cake. Maybe Lizzie will have to parcel some cake and then send to me too. Bukola Odufadeni Olusoya. She's in Peterborough. Maybe she'll have to package some and then put them in the post. Then send to me, because my mouth is always watering whenever I see her preparing those cakes. We will get our Oduduwa Republic. It is going to happen. I assure you. It will happen. We will get it. There's no going back. Olushisi Shakiru, thank you. Thank you all. So nobody can convince me or give me reasons why Nigeria should not break. Lizzie said she's in trouble. I don't know how you're going to do that, Bukola Odufadeni. How the cake is not going to destroy before it gets to you in California, all the way from Peterborough in the UK, in Cambridgeshire. Yeah, Maureen Hink, you said you can't wait to see Nigeria break up. It's going to break up. The writing is on the wall. It's been there for a long time. Something is going to happen that will warrant the quick breakup of that country. Something is going to happen, and it will warrant, it will make all the stakeholders to sit and then renegotiate the federating unit called Nigeria. Maybe Nigeria will be the next stage after Yugoslavia to begin to have new countries. But then and again, I was reading it in one of the posts, guys. Perhaps this is an issue that we have to treat here on this platform. If we break up, how do we spread the cost of the debt that is hanging on Nigeria. We need ideas. We have to think extremely fast. Nigeria is in debt. The various governments, Buhari's government, they've borrowed excessively. If Nigeria should break today, how do we split the debt that is hanging on the country? Any ideas? Cordelia Eze, you said simple by population, which falls on the north. Wow. Cordelia Eze, you see, I have my reasons for throwing this. What if they say to you that population did not exist? They can turn around when we break up to tell the world that the population was not there. How do we split the debt that is hanging on Nigeria should Nigeria break tomorrow? Because we're not going to walk away from the debt, because the IMF, the World Bank, they will want you to negotiate on how the debt will be spread round the three regions: Otutua Republic, Biafra Republic, and perhaps Arewa Republic, which will incorporate the Middle Belt. Cordelia Eze said they have already claimed they are majority. They can turn it back around when it is not in their favor. You see, they claimed they have the largest landmass. I was hoping people would base their assumption on the landmass. They have the largest land. Can we base that on that? Can we base their own share of the repayment of the debts that's hanging on the country based on their landmass? Should we base that on the number of years the northerners they've ruled over the southerners? Just like Brexit. Yexit, Yoruba exit, is just round the corner. And there are loads of paperwork, loads of issues to settle. Let me quickly run you to one nasty bit. Number 9, Northumberland Avenue, that housed the Nigeria High Commissioner in London today, was not the property of the federal government of Nigeria. Do you know that? For those of you who are in the UK. Number 9, Northumberland Avenue, was bought with cocoa money by the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo when he was the Premier of the Western region, hoping number 9, Northumberland Avenue in London will be the Western Nigeria diplomatic post in the UK. How? See, there are many things we have to look into. Yeah, Western region originally owned number 9 Northumberland Avenue. There are so many issues. We cannot just be talking about divorcing ourselves away from that contraption that they called Nigeria without looking far and deep into the problems that will come after it. I've just highlighted some of the problems. Number one is the debt that is hanging on the country. How do we settle the debts? That's the first thing. Nigeria is owing quite a lot, and that scares the Western world on our breakup. Who's going to pay? Yes, I observe Michael. Awolowo was 1 in a million, very intelligent. Obasanjo did not allow Awolowo to get there. There's a lot that I'm going to unveil in the 60 years of the misery from 1959 to 2019. The role played by all the politicians combined, Zik, Awo, Sadaruna, Tafawa Balewa, in the very first phase, 1959 to 1979. Start thinking. Prepare your brain. Get yourselves prepared. If Nigeria should break today, how do we settle the debt that's hanging over that country? That's number one. The issue of land and borders is clearly defined. The debt is the most important. The Western world wants to know how we will arrange ourselves in an orderly fashion to make sure we service our debt. By what percentage margin, if we break, will those debt be allocated to each region? All these questions are begging for answers. Dangote will pay it. Dangote, see, that is another issue entirely. Dangote is just one. It's just one of the lucky guy in the whole of Nigeria that made it. Not that he made it because he knew somebody who was in government. He claimed to be a self-made billionaire. Fine. How many billionaires do we have in that country that are really properly, really self-made, without any interference from any influential politician or somebody who is in government? None. You will discover Dangote will not pay a dime. Dangote, who does not know that the health system in his own country was that bad, to the extent that it was Bill Gates that was telling him of the health system in his own country. Bill Gates in the United States. telling the same Aliko Dangote that his health system. I watched a clip to which Dangote was spraying Soniade with $500 bills in a country that cannot even supply decent, clean water, pipe-borne water to its citizens. I've never seen the richest man in the world, Bill Gates, spending money and spraying money on musicians publicly. That can only happen in a shithole country like Nigeria. Yeah, some people will say Dangote is a businessman, and because he's a businessman, he's got to align himself with any government that comes to power. Bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, Maureen Hink is not self-made. They gave him every opportunity to use the destiny of Nigerians. Obasanjo was one of those. Obasanjo made Dangote exceedingly rich. I know that. Just like Babangida made Mike Adenuga to be exceedingly rich. I think I once made a show on this. You have to know somebody in government to be extremely rich. Utter nonsense. And those who claimed they are exceedingly rich, go and check their background. They've got one nasty, shady stuff going on. Some, probably, they used people as money rituals. Some people within that that country, some rich people that you see who are big and mighty, they cannot, because they used money ritual, they use people as money ritual to make money for themselves. I know of one who passed away. Whether he's in hellfire right now is what I cannot say, but I'm not going to mention that rich man in Nigeria. He doesn't sleep in his bedroom. He sleeps in his kitchen where they cook food on the bare floor. That was the instruction given him. And that same man never sleeps outside his domain somewhere in the southwest. If he's in Lagos or wherever, he comes back to his domain. He must never sleep outside because he has to sleep in his kitchen. Yes, you're right. Ayo Sav Michael. Devil doesn't give anything free. There's a price he takes from you. That's why I did not want to mention that person, although the person is dead. But this was something I know very well. Very, very rich. Very, very rich. Very, very rich man in the southwest. There are so many. We will look into, say, in the same cycle of misery. I'm going to open up your eyes into areas that you've never seen Nigeria before. See, Nigeria, just like you and I, those of us who are in the Western world, that we've got our individual credit score. just like Nigeria was as at that time. Nigeria equally as a country had a credit rating. That's what most people don't know. See, I watched some of the podcasts by this American activist who continued to lambast the white folks and the Asians, that the Asians, they came, I'm trying to remember his name. Maybe Fola today, you're welcome to the show, Fola. Maybe Fola will tell us the name of that black activist that continued to bash the white and the Asian people. See, I watched one of his show, Araba, to which he was discrediting the Asians, the Koreans, that when they enter the United States of America, they've got a credit note with them. That if they're walking into any bank, the bank will honor their credit note. And that's what the black people in the United States were unable to do. Nigeria, those days, at least that I know of, right up to right up to 1980, 87, 86, 87, had credit notes. If you're a business, if you are a limited liability company and you're registered as a limited liability company in Nigeria and you want to go into import and export, you make contacts with manufacturers either in Europe, America, or the rest of the world. So long as you are a limited liability company, those days, manufacturers will ship their goods because of Nigeria's credit note. Nigeria was credit worthy at the time. Nobody was talking about that. I'm going to talk about that. They'll ship their goods all over the whole world to Nigeria. You know what the Nigerian businessmen will do? They will collect all the goods and the company will continue to ship goods to them. And now for them to remit, this was based on credit. They've not paid any penny or advance to the manufacturers abroad because they were simply limited liability. That means if they fail to pay for the goods that were supplied to them, the Nigerian government will have to make sure they pay. That was the purpose. Many of those people who established their businesses those days collected goods from many European manufacturers and they never paid them. And that was the beginning of how Europe started blacklisting Nigeria. Those people, those are the people you see. They invite Ebenezer Obey, King Sunny Ade. They throw big, lavish parties at the expense of the goods that were sent abroad for them to sell and market to Nigeria. I'm going to talk about all those. We will talk about them. Other than the fact that the curse to Nigeria was secretly engraved in the Star of David, that was an occultic signature, and the Masonic symbol. Nigerians equally contributed to the problems, the curse they inflicted on the nation, because imagine a manufacturer supplying goods to you in Nigeria in good faith. You received the goods. You sold the goods here in Nigeria, and you failed to repatriate the manufacturer's money back to them where they are. How do you hope to be successful yourself? You've cursed yourself, you've cursed your generation, and you've cursed your country, because the manufacturers, wherever they are, anywhere in the world, who trusted you, who sent their goods to you, they've got people to maintain as well. They've got to provide for those working in their manufacturing sector. By you failing in Nigeria to repatriate what they sent to you in good conscience, means you've cursed yourself, because they perhaps will have to lay off people because you refuse to send what they are entitled to. Not many people are aware. We will look into all those. There's a lot, guys, that you're going to enjoy the book. There's a lot inside it. And I'm really taking my time, and I've written it in such a way that God, a 6-year-old who is competent enough to read, will read and understand the language of the book. Guys, let's round it up. The time is just coming to 21:37 today, the very first day of March 2020. It is Sunday today. Let me seize the opportunity to thank you. I can see Lizzie. I'm not too sure whether the picture I'm looking next to Lizzie is Amina Olayinka. I can see Bukola Odufaderi Olusoya. I don't know who the next person is. I can see Fola Akintide too. Olushisi Shakiru. Okay, let me seize the opportunity to thank you all. I am in chapter 3 of the book. Chapter 3 of Nigeria extreme marriage between the rich southern wife and the poor northern husband has already taken, it's already taken me down to page 75. It's taking me to page 75, and I am currently on chapter 3. Now, what I am analyzing, what I am talking about at the moment is to analyze the 3 different cycles. So now I'm on the first phase, 1959 to 1979. I'm going to analyze everything that happened under that. Yeah, thanks for laughing at that. And I think I should be making use of your dad's materials as well, because I had some of his writings as the custodian of information, and I'm going to give credits to him as well. He's written some fantastic piece that will help us in the book as well. So I'm going to be using some of those materials, especially in chapter 3, the very first phase of the misery cycle, 1959 to 1979. Thank you all for tuning in to watch this great show. I'm really privileged to entertain you, and for those who are in Nigeria, my hat's off to you, because I know data is terribly expensive back in that place, but I'm going to surprise some of you in Nigeria in due course. Guys, thank you all for watching this great show today. It's been my avid pleasure to come back live to you. The cross you guys gave me is taking my time. That's why I've not been coming regularly on the show to talk to you, but whenever I am chanced, especially on the progress of the book, I'll tell you. Olusegun Odunawa, you said, what is the solution to the problem and way forward? You said my stories are not accurate and baseless. Do you think so? You said you'll be glad to meet me personally and physically to discuss. No, you won't meet me personally or physically to discuss because I don't know who you are. No. And by the way, perhaps you have not been following. I'm not too sure if you are a friend or a foe, or you're an enemy, or you are one of those that Abakari and Maman Daura they've sent. So if you know you don't enjoy the show, pull yourself out. That means it's not for you. If you want to know more, then watch the show from the beginning. I'm not going to repeat myself, because I'm seeing your name for the first time. You can't meet me personally. It's not going to happen. I don't know who you are, so why should I meet you? Guys, thank you all for watching the show. Until next time, take good care of yourself, and you have a pleasant week ahead. God bless you. Good night.